With Anthem finally coming out to the masses after what was a pretty disappointing quote-unquote demo, not to mention all the negativity that surrounds the game, I decided to make a little bit of a more positive video regarding Anthem. That's why I gathered a nice handful of tips and tricks that will help a lot of people get through leveling in Anthem, but also assist them in the endgame. Because while Anthem is a fun game to play, it does have a very complex form of gameplay that will give the people willing to learn an advantage throughout the entire game. So let's dive into these tips that will help you get a better grasp of the game. First thing I have to bring up, because a lot of people don't even know that this is part of the game, but I have to bring up combos. While taking enemies out with guns is all fun and games, the main source of damage in Anthem comes from combos. What a combo consists of is you having to set up an enemy, or what's called priming, which the abilities are called primers, to which you can cause a huge amount of damage with another ability, which is called detonators. The best thing is that multiple players can combine these combos. So let's say you only have a primer on your build. You can be the person that sets up the enemies so your friends can use their detonator ability on them. But make sure you read what abilities you put on your character, because each javelin has a unique effect when they set off combos. This tip alone has to be one of the most important ones, and it's why I put it at the beginning of the video, because it's such a game changer when you start to set off combos. You have the ability to take out massive amounts of enemies at one time, and as you get towards the end game, enemies will take a lot more damage. So if you're not using these to the maximum effect, you either won't be able to accomplish anything and move forward in strongholds or any form of legendary contracts, or you can take these out very easily and start moving forward to Grandmaster 3. This leads me to my next tip, and that's try to play this game with friends or people at all times. Anthem is pretty cool, in which it will scale naturally with your squad size, so go play with 1 or 3 friends. When you and your friends are able to combo enemies at an alarming rate, it makes the game that much more fun. Communication is the key to success, because you want to be able to prime enemies and then destroy them with detonators. It's very satisfying. So make sure to play with some friends and make some friends through the matchmaking. The only time I will say for you to play alone in this game will be during the tomb challenges. While they did patch this, I would recommend doing this portion of the game on normal or easy, because playing on hard mode doesn't benefit you as much as you would think for this certain part of the game. Usually when you play on hard, you get a lot of XP, you get some different items, but in the free play, it kind of seems like it's skewed for you to go normal or easy, especially for these tomb challenges. So make sure you do that. Next up is all about the way you play the characters in Anthem, because while Anthem is a looter shooter, it is very misleading to call it that. I say that because if your primary way of doing damage to an enemy is you using your guns, you're probably doing everything wrong in the game. And I know there's no wrong way to play a game, but I have to say that shooting enemies is far less effective in this game. The whole point of this game is for you to use your abilities in tandem with your team. Your last resort is for you to use your guns. So while you're shooting at an enemy and you feel like this total badass, you are ultimately not doing a lot of damage. So holster that weapon and start using your abilities, because in the long run, as you get comfortable with them, it's going to help you later on. Always use your abilities. They're on short cooldowns. Some of your gear will help you have your abilities come up even faster. This game is all about abilities. You even get legendary items for your abilities, so make sure you use them. Put the gun away. Which brings me to my next tip, which is always stay on the move. Usually when you play a shooter, you will run back and forth or side to side while shooting your enemies. Well, on Anthem, the trick is to stay above your enemies and always move so you're harder to hit. Even as an Interceptor and Colossus, who are supposed to be on the front lines for their team, the name of the game is to hit quick, do some combos, and fly away and reposition. Stay hovered above them, take a few shots with a gun, and then go back in once you see an opening. You are constantly needing to run a gun, or a better term is flying gun, because this game promotes you to move around. Enemies have a harder time hitting you when you're flying around, so always stay on the move, kill an enemy, chop them up, or take them out, and then move to the next one. Use the verticality and the wide range of the map to your advantage. That's what it's built for. And this ties directly into the next tip I have for you, and that has to do with flying in general. Always keep an eye on your jet heat meter that sits directly on your character or right below it. During combat, make sure you keep track of this so you don't overheat and become restricted to the ground. If you keep track of this, you can stop flying really quick right before you overheat, and your jets will cool much faster as you're on the ground. But if you overheat, you'll have to wait for them to cool down on a much longer cycle. As for long distance travel, make sure you fly near water or liquid, which will help cool your jets, or sometimes it won't even cause your javelin to overheat at all, so you can travel at a longer distance. But let's say there's no water around, all you have to do is fly straight down and it will cool your jets down considerably. And as you get better flying around the world, this will translate to your combat capabilities and help you be a much more effective player for the endgame and the Grandmaster leveling. But as you're flying around, this comes up to my next tip. Harvest plants and everything else you see around the world. Trust me, you'll thank me later when you can craft almost anything you want to match your perfect build. While you have to harvest 25 plants all over the world to unlock the tombs during the campaign, I would still recommend you harvest everything in your way because you could never have enough materials. You will be able to craft several tiers of rarity, and you'll need all the materials to craft higher quality versions of gear you once had blueprints of. So make sure if you see a plant glowing, you take the time to stop and harvest them. Every little bit helps, people. Trust me, harvest everything you see. Be a damn farmer if you have to. The next big help is components. Make sure you take the time to get your components right, especially when you reach the end game. Because as you're leveling up, you might look at the screen and get a little overwhelmed with the amount of choice you have. Make sure you use class specific components because they will help your specific javelin stand out the most, especially since the class specific components give far more worthwhile bonuses. As you're leveling up, don't put too much time into these because you'll replace them very quickly, but make sure you give them the time they deserve when you finish the campaign. They can really make a difference in damage output and also survivability, and they will also help your abilities be far more effective, especially if you have acid or grenade. These abilities can be heightened with these components and make you cause a lot more damage or survive a lot longer. But once you enter the endgame, a whole new set of challenges will open to you, which is called the Challenge of the Valor, where you have to complete a long list of events in order to unlock certain aspects held at the end of the game. I would recommend playing the entire campaign with one character, so you're mastering at least one style of gameplay. But once you unlock the endgame, you should use the 100 world events and quick play events on other characters to get new gear. This will help you get a balance between javelins as you gear them up and not be pigeonholed into one character. Because while playing the same javelin is great, I truly recommend everyone switch it up because that's what will keep people coming back. The variety in gameplay. And having your other characters be leveled up or get new gear will give you better balance between what you can play with your friends. Maybe somebody doesn't have a certain javelin, but you do. You will be able to switch back and forth and bring different combos into high-end Grandmaster difficulty. Now for the last tip and trick I have to give you guys, and that's for people to enjoy the game and be patient with it. I know there's been a lot of negativity surrounding this game and its release, and I have to say, I'm one of the people that found that leveling experience to be broken and the end game to be extremely lackluster. But I also know that this game is amazing looking, has outstanding controls, and a lot of potential. Does it need a lot of work? Of course it does. Most looter shooters like this do need to evolve into something else over the years it's active. Knowing that BioWare and EA will update this game for a full year for free does bring a lot of optimism for me. I do get the broken aspects can be very frustrating and almost game breaking, but I do have to say I did have a lot of fun playing the game once you get a handle of certain aspects. I just hope the developer provides a lot of content as we go along and are able to sustain the masses' attention, because that's what this game strives for, to keep you engaged with great content. So all I have to say is be patient. We have another patch coming in March and we have another one coming in April. So hopefully they give us a lot more content for us to sink our teeth into. And that's all the tips and tricks I have for you guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope these tips and tricks helped you understand Anthem a little better. But let me know if you guys have any tips that I left out or something you found to be very helpful during your playthrough. Go down below and let everyone else know. And if you like the content, please hit that like button and subscribe button. It means a lot. And maybe check out the other videos on my channel and share them out with a couple of your friends. Also check me out on Twitch. I always try to stream the games I play and interact with everyone that stops by. It's a very good time and I enjoy doing it. And lastly, follow me on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always posting new videos and talking to a bunch of people all the time about gaming, so go give me a follow. Thanks for watching, everyone, and that's all for today. Have a good one, and remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.